everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tuber. Welcome back. If this is your 15th Walker Season 3 episode review, hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the bigger world. Today it marks the end of a two-parter. I'm honestly a little more mixed a little bit than I should be. I felt like we I don't know, like, once again, Walker does the unexpected of, like, okay, well, we're supposed to have, I don't know, it's like, you know, I felt this way since season 1, where, like, I feel like every time they have a main core conflict, it doesn't entirely wrap up traditionally, and I know I should be used to that at some point. It still feels a little off, so to speak, that, like, there's still some unexplored angle, and again, we still have 3 more episodes of the season left after this episode that, you know, my feelings could be resolved in a few weeks. It just felt a little bit like a little rushed, in my opinion, so to speak. It's the Walker style of, like, you know, we're kind of like just going at the pace that the writers dictate, and sometimes that's great and sometimes it's debatable. Let's say that. This falls on the debatable side. Maybe I'll change after the Butcher recap my thoughts on it. But overall, right now, I still think this was a solid episode of Walker. It kind of felt a little cliche at times. Some unexpected stuff, a little bit cliche. I definitely felt like they could have pushed the envelope a little bit more with certain aspects, but overall, I feel like this was a good kind of story finale of sorts, rather than, you know, being a season finale. I mean, again, like I said, we still have 3 more episodes to go that we'll be getting once we come back in, oh my god, in April, but we'll talk more about that at the end. But for now, let's go through the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Walker. So picking up where we left off from the last episode, we're the next morning over, we're doing a press conference. It's a Texas Ranger press conference where they talk about, like, the bombing of the house, the safe house, that multiple members of the FBI were killed, as well as the mayor sadly being critically injured, but currently in not conscious, and obviously sadly thus confirming that Julia did officially die. While, yes, the bolo is out for Kevin's arrest for him being the perpetrator behind Gray Flag, sadly, Kevin also pulled the trigger shortly before he left, putting blame also on Cordell, planting false evidence against him. And now both him and Cordell are on the run. We have no idea where Cordell is. Obviously, the family was a little bit worried that maybe Cordell may have died, but thankfully no. And now, once again, he's part of an entire FBI investigation against him. So I'm like, yeah, this is Cordell being Cordell once again. We cut over back to the Walker house, where the FBI have a search warrant to search the premises, and they're searching around while the press conference is happening, trying to, you know, figure out, you know, obviously Cordell researching everything about his former unit, about Gray Flag. It doesn't entirely sit well with the agents, and like, this isn't much of a person looking for Gray Flag. It's more of a person working with Gray Flag, so definitely does not really give them much comfort. And then when they were moving on one of the bookshelves, they found a package of C4 behind it. And also, I remember, yeah, so back a few episodes ago when Kevin was over at the house, at the stables, helping out with that in that episode, when he went to the Cordell's main barn house where he lives. We did see him upstairs coming down when he ran into Cassie, so that explains why he was up there, to plant that false evidence against him. So now once more, the FBI just seemingly believes, yeah, Cordell's guilty. He's bad. We got to go find him. So picking out, where is Cordell, by the way? Where is he? So he's off siphoning gas at a gas station. Still pretty woozy, still pretty out of it, just trying to figure out a way to keep going. Trying to be on the lam again, nearly gets caught by a civilian, but thankfully she has no idea who the heck he is. So he takes it as a sign of, like, okay, good, my cover's still fine. However, shortly after, once again, Cassie finds him right away. It's like Cassie just magically knows where Cordell is. It's kind of like, from The Office, it's Michael and the woman he has. I was about to say the name, but I completely slipped my mind. Holly, where, like, Holly just knew instantly where Michael would be, even though, like, yeah, they're 2 separate people. They just know each other, kind of in that weird thing. Like, she understands him, and it's kind of the same way where, like, yeah, Cordell and oh my god, damn, I forgot the name already. Oh my god, Cassie are just 2 sides of the same coin. So, like, obviously they're good. Like, obviously not in a romantic way, more like a brother sister type of vibe over there. So she finds him. She brings him to a gas station, kind of fills him in on like, yeah, right now you are most wanted alongside Kevin. So everyone in the country, in the state's looking for you right now. So what's the move? Like, we got to figure out what to do. And Cordell's like, I gotta bring Kevin in. Like, that's literally my only sort of solution to like bring him in and hope to God that, you know, he confesses to like, yeah, that he had no involvement in this. Even though I'm pretty sure he doesn't know that. Yeah, well, he does know that Kevin did plant the evidence within Julia, that there would be more evidence that he would have planted somewhere else. So hopefully him bringing him in would be enough to, like, you know, clear his name, hopefully speaking. But Cassie has to suggest, like, yeah, there's probably another option they do have to do. But right now, Cordell has to do this alone. He cannot bring anyone along with him because, again, being on the lam is not the most comfortable lifestyle per se. So Cass is like, okay, agreed, we'll do it. I'll stay behind with the Rangers, you know, try and feed you intel once I find it. But in the meantime, you need to be off the grid. You know, she even buys them a pair of burner phones, even like a nice, not his hat, but like another blue hat. Basically, he's redonning the Duke persona while he's undercover. Sort of ish again, trying to just figure out what his next move is going to be. Weirdly enough, when she bought the phones, they didn't exchange numbers. Like, these are two separate phones. Like, why are you not giving the numbers? Like, bro, like, I know, like, would have been boring for them to set up the phone and everything. I'm like, come on, at least something. Like, I don't believe, like, you just took a phone box and just imagine, okay, it should be connected with another nearby phone box. That's not how it works at all. We cut over back to the ranger station where, yeah, the FBI basically made it to its own private briefing room. They got evidence against the Walkers, you know, trying to figure out what's the connection with them, with Kevin. Again, Kevin really set this up so well that he's in there with the Walker family. So if at this point in the juncture, if they take down Kevin, he's taking down the whole family with them. So I'm like, damn, he really fought this to a T. Again, James is trying to pitching him like, you know, Cordell wouldn't do this. He got kidnapped as well. Why would he bring his family? You know him already. He's like, yeah, no, I don't know him. Maybe he got broken with Grapevine. Maybe he is part of them. We don't know. Like, you know, there's all this sort of, you know, this information where like, yeah, it's obvious to connect them, but like, obviously they're missing certain pieces that would prove against it. But, you know, obviously right now they don't have those pieces. Meanwhile, Trey is looking in at it, but then when he's at the gym, just kind of, you know, expressing his anger, he does tell James like he feels responsible for this because, you know, him dropping the notebook, him, you know, just like nothing went according to plan with him going undercover. It didn't really. Obviously, James is trying to, like, you know, knock some sense into him about that. It's not fully his fault. He didn't know about it. But of course, Trey thinking that, yeah, because of the notebook and everything, and that's when everything went down south. Now, you know, people are dead, innocent people are hurt, and now Cordell's on the run. Like, you know, this doesn't sit well with him, but thankfully James manages to calm him down a little bit, so just a little bit, so to speak. So where does Cordell go first in his trek of solo life again? He goes, finally, we get to see again Jerry, which I'm like, oh my God, thank the freaking Lord. I'm like, it has been so freaking long. Like, she left before winter, like before the winter finale. It's been more than half a season between them. Like, all we knew, like, there was a connection to Hoyt, and that was it. She just packed her stuff and she left. So now I'm thinking, like, where did she go? And how did Cordell even know where she was? Like, you know, again, there's so many holes missing that, again, like, it was probably off screen that, you know, Cordell maybe knew or something like that. Anyway, Cordell finds her, she finds him, and, you know, they embrace for a little bit, reuniting. Cordell's only there to give her the message of, like, just call my family, let them know somehow, you know, via Morse code or some sort of sign or something that I'm okay, I'm good, I'm going to be away for a while. I will come back, but I can't come back until I clear my name, you know. Starting to act a little crazy because, again, he literally was like 5 feet away from an explosion. So, and he hasn't had medical treatment yet. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised this man's like running on fumes here. But Cordell doesn't get far to get away. He immediately collapses on her driveway. She brings him in. He manages to finally get some rest a little bit. And then he fills her in a little bit what happened if in Afghanistan with Coop, with everything that happened to him there. And now, like, having everything happen recently, because, again, even the way Cordell's like, yeah, you haven't been around in a while. Like, a lot has happened since you left. So, us trying to, like, you know, figure this all out right now, it's still a big mystery. Like, how does everything fit together is still, like, puzzling, to say the least. And again, going back to the point of, like, you know, he needs to be alone. He needs to be away from his family, because if he tries to go back and while he's, like, still being hunted, it doesn't bring them safety. It brings them danger. But Jerry's like, nah, this isn't you. Like, this isn't the Cordell I knew. Like, definitely this entire ordeal has made you different. So you need to like think more carefully, more straightly before you pursue certain paths on this, road you're putting yourself on. Meanwhile, back at the station, Cassie and Trey are back on the move. I think they're following up on a lead to find Kevin. But Howard Trey notices some like discomfort between him and Cassie. He brings it up, and Cassie admits that she feels uncomfortable around Trey right now because she always had a bad feeling about Kevin since they first met. But of course, Trey think, oh man, you guys would be a cute couple, like it's just you being like against love right now. Just forget about it, give this a chance. And even like Cordell like saying that like maybe she needs to get a personal life, beyond work, because like she's been so focused on Miles for like more than a year now that was kind of like disrupting her personal life, that she decided to give it a chance and like let her guard down, that if she had not, maybe things would be differently. And like, yeah, she is right. Like, maybe her listening to her gut feel maybe could have affected certain thing. Maybe it would have like prevented more deaths, or maybe it could have caused more death. Who really would have known? But she had that feeling. It was pushed back against a lot of people, especially to Trey, that she's just not comfortable right now. They're just doing the mission, and trying to get Cordell back home. But right now, she's not feeling comfortable around Trey. But for the good of Cordell, she has to work with him to go get him back and bring Kevin down. Meanwhile, Kevin is at a nearby airstrip, prepping to basically flee the country. He's hot right now, and he has to plan the next stage of his plan. So he meets up with one of his investors for Grey Flag, letting him know, like, yes, this was all a setback. This is all going to be fine. This is all going to lead into the bigger picture. But I need some more money. I need your plane. I need to get the hell out of here. But I will come back. And obviously he calls his bluff. I'm like, this all started, like, everything was going peachy with your plans, and then you had to involve Cordell, and then I don't know what revenge fantasy you have against him, but, like, this is all going downhill. This needs to be rectified. Kevin's not seeing the reason. He's like, okay, you don't want to help me? Fine. I'll do it myself, but I'm still going to kill you. So he knocks him out and prepares the plane for his departure. I want to say, like, we get back to Jerry's temporary house, where Cordell's like prepping to leave again, going back on his, solo mission here. He catches a new broadcast with Kevin's dad, pleading to him that, hey, look, son, you got to stop this. You got to come home. This is not what you're doing. Like, just give it up right now. But, Cordell's like noticing something a bit particular, but we'll pick back up on that later. Jerry is considering going along with him on this mission, even like having a little bit of like a old-fashioned banter between them. That what would be my outlaw name if I was to go with you? And he picks Alejandro, which I'm like, brah, Cordell, you an idiot. But before he's able to finally leave, someone approaches their doorstep. It's actually Grandpa Walker. Why is Bonham there? Because he feels bad that, like, the last time they really had a conversation, like a true to honest conversation before all this Grey Flag stuff even started up, that he basically told him, like, yeah, I think you should leave home. You need to go, fix your house finally, do your own thing, just separate yourself from us. And obviously they haven't really had a chance to communicate and touch base on that again, because it's been, I want to say, months since that conversation and since all this started up. And, Cordell's is expressing, like, I understand, but, like, Bottom thinking like him coming along with this mission would at least kind of rectify, like, his, this is his apology. And, Cordell has no choice but to let him go along because, like, you never really say no to your dad. He gets a call from Cassie letting them know, like, there is a lead with Kevin at the airstrip. So the two go ahead sans Jerry to go finally confront Kevin. They go to the airstrip. They immediately see Kevin's goons around the place. Bonham decides to draw their fire away while Cordell goes up to go fight Kevin alone. So they go do that. Eventually, Cordell slips into the main hangar where he runs into Kevin, and immediately Kevin's like already on this like monologue where like he's expressing, he's about to reveal his true intentions of like, this is all on you, this is all your fault, like, if you just not had a Van and Coop, which I'm like, I still don't know the connection. Like, is he your father or anything? Like, I really don't know what the heck's going on here. And even Cordell's like pushing forward, like eventually Cordell reveals that, because you think I abandoned my brother, that you think I killed your brother. indicating like, well, not indicating, revealing that yes, Kevin and Clay are brothers. Clay is the older brother. Coop is the older brother of Kevin. And that's when Kevin starts getting emotional that like he was gonna come home and then you abandon him, and then I never at any point Cordell ever mentions like your brother's still alive, you dingus, like you need to stop this. But he's not buying. He's like right now you have no cards, you have no authority over me. You're basically as the same rank as a civilian, so you have nothing to use against me. So right now, yeah, you're going to be a fugitive for as long as I want you to be a fugitive. So you'll never be able to catch me. Meanwhile, Grandpa Walker faces off against the goons. However, he gets almost killed by 2 of them, which I'm like, are they gonna kill Grandpa Walker? I'm like, no. We don't have time for a season with a death. We don't. They've been through so much. Let them have one peaceful season. Well, not peaceful season, but like, have them have one season where they don't have to deal with a funeral, please. But thankfully, he gets saved by someone who shoots them from a distance as he wonders what the heck's going on. Eventually, it is Coop. He appears behind Cordell, trying to plead with Kevin, like, I'm sorry. Trying to like basically fill in the story of like like fixing Kevin, like. I didn't abandon you. I thought that, well, yeah, he didn't abandon him, but like, I thought that you could have had a better life without me, and I was wrong. And, even though that he promised that like, as soon as he comes back from the war, that he's going to take over as the sole provider for him and his mom, and then they're going to get away from their dad, and they're going to live a much better life. That didn't happen. Obviously, Kevin's just like torn right now where, yeah, he's still mad. He's happy Coop is alive, but he's also mad that Coop is alive and, that he was struggling for all these years to fix it. Also, Coop does not look like, I don't know, like the aging on this group is wrong, because like I'm pretty sure Cordell is like in his mid 40s. I want to say he's in his early to mid 40s, let's say that. And then you have Coop, who's like, I gotta say he's 50, but like how old is Kevin then? Like I really don't know. The timetables on this does not make sense. Like I was not expecting like Kevin or Coop to be brothers. I was just expecting them to be just maybe Coop left an offspring before he left, and this was it. But then again, that wouldn't really work on the timeline, because that means this guy would be the same age as Stella, even a little bit older. But I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, just let's say it's believable. It's as believable as, I don't know, as in Shazam Fury of the Gods, of like Rachel Zeiger somehow is related to Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu. I could not believe it, but it's believable. So I'm like, there you go. Kevin gets overwhelmed with emotion. He wants to kill Cordell, but thankfully Coop takes the shot. It's a clean shot, so he's not going to really be killed by this. Grandpa Walker comes from behind, shooting Kevin, but Kevin manages to get into the plane. Cordell knows he has to be the one to take him down, so he gets on a motorcycle. And honestly, it's not that bad of a scene. Like I was expecting something a little bit more epic, but then again, this is a TV show. They can't really go full all these sort of crazy angles, Tom Cruise style. They can't do that really. But thankfully, Cordell manages to get a little bit of a speed against him while he's about to take off, shooting his cockpit, turning off the engine. Thankfully, while Cassie and Trey come back with reinforcements. So they managed to ground Kevin. Kevin having no choice, but he has to end this once and for all. He has to kill Cordell. Cordell is about to fire at him, but he's sadly out of bullets. Kevin is about to use his opportunity to finally kill Cordell, but Cassie deals the blowing shot to him, killing him once and for all. And I'm like, that scene was kind of edited a little bit awkwardly, because like Kevin, it seemed like he had way more time to kill Cordell. He just really hesitated there for a second. And then the way Kevin was just like, I feel like in media, it's so like, oh, if Kevin had the energy, he could have killed Cordell, but we're like, we're going to keep Cordell alive. So I'm like, yeah, it's so fucking, because literally he could have been like, okay, one more shot. But like, no, they don't. He's down, he's taken down, but right now Cordell, opting to not run away, just puts his hands up in the midst, like, okay, I'm here, I'm surrendering. Don't worry, I'm here in peace. So we cut over to later that evening, where the scene's processed, Kevin's body's collected. Coop is thankfully had been treated by the first aid medics, and then eventually the FBI lady and James officially clear Cordell of any wrongdoing. Which I'm like, bro, this is your second time clearing Cordell. Like at this point, you should admit maybe Cordell's not a bad guy. Maybe you just blame them. It's easy to blame the hero, but again, they're doing their jobs, and even Cordell's like, yeah, I think this time I'm owed a steak. 72 ounces, which I'm like, that's a pretty big steak. I don't know how you can do it. Then again, you tall. So he's cleared. He's cleared of any sort of accusations against him. They're going to do a joint press conference tomorrow to officially set the record straight, put Cordell back on the map as an official Texas Ranger. And even before Cordell's like, about to head back, and the lady's like, oh, maybe we'll do another medal ceremony this time, And they're like, dude, way too soon. Way too soon. After that, James and Cordell have a little bit of a sit down of going back to their old phrase of how these types of cases would usually run come back home, come back to dinner, but don't tell mama. But this time, considering the fact James promised her last time, as soon as this entire ordeal was over, no more cases, Cordell will definitely be coming home. It's time for him to make do on that promise and keep it. So yeah, that ends about it, that for the Gray Flag case. Meanwhile, Cassie's watching over Kevin's body in the body bag. Trey's admitting they won. They finally, it's over. But Cassie's not still comfortable with Trey. The reason why it hurts a little bit more than the others. And I was thinking, is this the moment? Is she finally going to confess, I've had romantic feelings from you from the beginning? And I'm like, oh God, they better not. But no, that's not the case. In reality, it's because they're kind of were in the same boat. They kind of entered, this picture of what they're in their stage of life, together, and doing all this. They're basically roommates living across the hall from each other. And I thought the way she phrased this conversation was I actually had feelings for you, but that's not Cassie's drive. That's not her groove. Maybe they could still do the pairing down the road. Who knows? But right now she's just needs some time away from Trey. She needs to gather her thoughts again, fully trust in herself again, not rely on others. So I'm like, okay, that's understandable. Trey leaves, in solace, letting Cassie stew on this on her own. But that was it for this week's episode of Walker and the conclusion, supposedly, of the Gray Flag storyline. For me, I really thought they could have made this a 3-parter. I would have been interested to see Cordell more on the run, because it seems like we never really got a full beyond an episode beyond where Cordell's on the run, or Cordell's Duke again, or he's alone. We never really got that, and honestly, that's what kind of I was expecting. It was kind of weird. I understand they label this as a 2-parter just to emphasize yes, this will be the end of the Gray Flag story arc for the season. But I'm also myself they did so much stuff. They built an entire compound and everything. I'm I was expecting a little bit more. And then again, there could still be more things to tackle. There could still be more about Gray Flag that could still happen. But I'm just saying the way that this was all building up to, I honestly wholeheartedly was expecting them to just do a raid on the compound, have Kevin be back there, have that be a Stromar, have everyone there, Coop, Cordell, everyone come over to fight. And that's what I was expecting. The way this was I kind of get it, but also I kind of don't get it. This was one of those, you could have stretched it out by another episode. Again, whatever the last 3 episodes piece of content would be, I'll judge this in, but judging this as an episode, I felt they could have done a little bit more, just a tad bit more, stretch this out, make it more, action-y, make it more, grand, because you're dealing with an entire militia here, and I really hope to God they don't wrap this up with a whole oh yeah, their leader's kidnapped, not kidnapped, the leader's taken, he's down, that's it, that's the end of Gray Flag. I really hope that's not the case. I hope there is a little bit more to this afterwards. I really hope. It just felt they squeezed a lot into this episode, personally speaking. This could have definitely been a 3-parter. This definitely could have spread it out a little bit more. Maybe saved Hoyt's daughter for either a finale reveal, do it for season 4 if we could. I don't know. I really don't know. I really liked the way this storyline was going. I just felt a little bit towards this episode they kind of rushed a little bit, or maybe they missed some opportunities. That's all I'm trying to say. But overall speaking, getting the end of the Coop storyline, getting the end of the Gray Flag, realizing Kevin's motivation, it may all seem a little generic, so to speak. Now thinking about it, kind of does sound a little predictable. I didn't really expect it, so I guess it's a good thing that it was not. I was caught a little off guard by it, but I was just I could have expected a little bit more. I could have, but yeah. Overall speaking, yeah, they have a lot of cleanup to do in the next 3 episodes to kind of make it. But overall with this episode, I think it was good. It was just a good conclusion to the Gray Flag story arc. I just would have expected a little bit more. I was very happy to see Jerry again. I got a little bit scared for Bonham. I didn't think he was going to be in this episode that much. I was like, no, they better not kill this man. They better not kill this man. If Kansas didn't beat him, no one else better beat him. Like, only natural causes. But thankfully, he's still living. He's still kicking. And yeah, there's still some more stuff to unpack this season, and I can't wait to see what the finale is going to be, the final 3 episodes for the run, how that's all going to shake out. But for now, I'm going to give this episode 1.5 thumbs up. I still enjoyed it a lot, but just not quite as epic as I was expecting it to be. But let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this week's episode of Walker? Let's have a conversation down below, as always. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 3rd season of Walker. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two, besides our Walker episode reviews, we are currently doing, as of now, Perry Mason episode reviews, the Rookie episode reviews, and the Rookie Feds episode reviews each and every week at the brand new episodes on their respective platforms. However, if you don't care about Walker, we're in for the last break of the season. We're off for almost a month. 4 weeks off. We will be back in the last Thursday of April. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty long wait. So, that's not what I was expecting, but after that begins the last run of, content for Walker, ending off the season with, the usual final episode reviews. After the finale review is posted, we'll have a season 3 review, non-spoiler, and then a season 4 predictions video, should we get one, a season 4. At least we are approaching upfronts in less than 2 months from now, so we should be getting the news of what shows are going to come back next year, what shows are going to come back next year for all of our content. So hopefully it will be more good news than none, but that will be as we get closer to it. But for right now, we have no words on it. But for Walker fans, I'll see y'all in 1 month, so enjoy your month away. Of course, obviously, we'll still have content rolling out for the next month, so hopefully you'll still enjoy it. But if you only care about Walker, I'll see you in a month. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Ring the bell for notifications, and also like, favorite, share, follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, for all you tech strangers out there, I'll see y'all in 1 month. But until then, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.